We've been talking about shopping quite a bit, and it's going to be a theme on the show for the next couple of weeks, I think, because I think if you take the UK statistics, around 15 to 20% of UK retailers, the major ones anyway, earnings, are earned in the next 3 to 4 weeks, the run up to the holiday season, Christmas season, whatever you want to call it. What about South Africa? What are the trends at the moment? The trend I've seen is that people are out there shopping already. And if you look at the, excuse me a moment, if you look at the stuff I got out of the business day, not the business day, the Sunday Times yesterday. I mean, look at this stuff. There were 18 shopping supplements from about 15 different retailers. Does this say that we've got more competition? Does it say that there's more money out there that's being chased? In the studio in Joburg with us is Kay Walsh, Economics Advisory Head at Deloitte, with the year-end survey, the Deloitte year-end holiday survey. Kay, your initial impressions, what's it going to be like this year?
I think, as you said, this is a very important time for retailers. At Deloitte, we've just conducted our 15th year-end holiday survey, which we do annually. And the results suggest that holiday spending is probably going to be quite resilient. Shoppers have suggested on average that they'll be spending 5.7% more than they were last year, which is more or less in line with the trend in retail sales we've seen throughout this year. You know, nothing stellar, but certainly a robust increase in spending.
It's certainly surprising the kind of resilience that the South African consumer continues to boast. I mean, going down into some of the other statistics that's come through, 20% of South Africans surveyed believe economic conditions will be positive next year, while 48% believe that their personal spending power will improve. Why that disconnect to such a degree?
Yeah, that's very interesting to us. I mean, I think when we had a look at this year's results, the majority, 50% of consumers still believe that current economic conditions are negative. And as you say, only 1 in 5 expect things to improve next year. Yet 50% believe that their personal finances will improve. And we've seen this sort of optimism for South Africans for the past 5 years with respect to their personal spending power.
What supports that optimism?
I think it's mainly the younger consumers. So we find that consumers between the ages of 18 and 34 are still quite optimistic about their personal prospects. I don't know if that's because they believe that, you know, their purchasing power will improve because of career advancement. They still see opportunities in this economy, but it's definitely the younger consumers that are driving that trend.
Kay, if you have a look at all the supplements that I just put up on air just now, 18 of them, as I said, and that's at the end of November. So I'm sure there will be more in the next weekend newspapers across the board, not just the Sunday Times. Does that mean that the retailers are saying to themselves, we really have to take advantage of the emotion surrounding the holiday season, and therefore we've got to get out there, we've got to be very visible to grab those last few rands that people have in their pockets? Or is it because they perceive that there's more money to be spent and therefore they've got to be in the game, if you like? Which of those two would you choose?
I think I'd probably choose the former. I think, yeah, based on our survey results, consumers have said that their value is very important to them. They're looking out for promotions, for sales, for special deals.
In fact, 82% of shoppers will buy products or gifts that are on sale more than anything else.
Yes, and they've said that another 80% also said they'd like to look at less expensive stores, and 81% want to focus on useful gifts. So I think retailers are recognizing that consumers, yes, they want to enjoy the festive season, they're planning to spend more than they did last year, but they're also looking for value. I think the uncertain economic environment is weighing on them to a certain extent, so they're looking to get better value for the money that they are planning to spend.
I spoke to our markets commentator earlier on, Alishia, and I sort of put forward the idea that perhaps if you take the example of Black Friday in the United States, which has just passed, and you see, you know, swarms of people, squads of them, you know, battling to buy these giant television screens with HD and 3D facilities, etc. And that was all very well, and the Dow Jones embraced that spending by rallying 1.33% on Friday. But on the other hand, maybe the shoppers in the United States of America are shooting their bolt. In other words, they're going to get the shopping out of the way in the next couple of weeks, and then the last couple of weeks before the official holidays, it all goes a little bit flat. And from what I've seen on Friday in South Africa, maybe the same thing might happen.
Yeah, again, from the perspective of the survey, I think most consumers indicated they're planning to get to the shops before the 15th of December this year, so they're hoping to avoid the last minute rush. So I think things might start to flatten out towards the 24th of December a little.
In the meantime, where are they directing their attention in terms of what the most, yes, you've highlighted that they're looking at, you know, those products that are on sale and promotional items, but what kind of gifts are on the list this year?
Like I said, it seems like people are focusing very much on useful gifts, and top of the list for adults again this year was cash. So 41% of consumers said they'd actually prefer to get cash, and I think that's because they don't want an unwanted surprise, they don't want waste, they'd rather have something pragmatic and be able to choose. There were some traditional gifts also up there in the top 5. CDs, books and chocolates will also be well received this year.
Mm-hmm. Very surprising that you've got cash on the top of the list. In terms of where these consumers are shopping?
It seems like most consumers are looking to shop for gifts in hypermarkets, supermarkets, again, good value places to find gifts, and also the specialty stores. So those would be the special branded stores for music and books and clothing and the like.
Kay, is this a make or break season for South African retailers? I gave you a figure at the beginning of the interview, 15 to 20% is the revenue that is likely to be reaped by overseas big retailers, that is, particularly in the UK. Is that figure as high as that in South Africa?
I think yes. I think the festive season is equally important for South African retailers, especially for certain types of goods. For music and books, it really is a very important season. And I think what retailers in South Africa are hoping, they're cautiously optimistic, they're hoping that they will continue to see the momentum we've had in retail sales this year continue to December at least. We've seen from overall consumer confidence figures, the BER and F&B put out that consumer confidence has declined overall, and we saw from our survey that people feel their spending power has also declined this year. So I think retailers will simply be hoping that the momentum they've been able to maintain through this year continues at least to December.